Every morning you are handed a choice, a blank slate, a new canvas on which to paint the day you want to live. Most people drift through these first moments half asleep, distracted by messages, news, or the endless pull of the outside world. But those who understand the power of the early minutes know something different. The first 15 minutes are not just minutes, they are seeds. Seeds that, when planted with intention, grow into the life you desire. Imagine starting each day fully aware, fully present, fully alive, shaping your thoughts before the world imposes its chaos upon you. That is the quiet power of a focused morning routine. It is here, in these few precious moments, that your mindset, your energy, and your very experience of the day are formed. These 15 minutes are not about doing more, they are about doing what matters. They are not about rushing through tasks or checking off a list. They are about centering yourself, aligning your thoughts with the reality you wish to inhabit. It is a moment of control, a moment where you become the master of your mind rather than a slave to circumstance. The mind is like a mirror, reflecting whatever you place before it. If you flood it with worry, chaos, or external noise, that is what your day will mirror back. But if you take 15 minutes to feed it with clarity, positivity, and purpose, you are planting the seeds for a day that serves you rather than a day that drains you. Consider this. The first moments of the morning carry the power to define the quality of the hours that follow. A mind that starts in peace, that starts with intention, does not stumble through decisions. It does not react to life, it creates life. Your thoughts, your focus, your energy, they are all fluid, ready to be shaped. When you take control of them first thing, you are not merely preparing for the day, you are designing it. And the remarkable thing is that you do not need hours, you do not need complex systems. 15 minutes of deliberate attention is enough. This is the time to visualize, to affirm, to breathe deeply, to see clearly the person you intend to be and the life you intend to live. People often underestimate these minutes. They say, I'll start tomorrow, or I'll wait until I have more time. But tomorrow is built on the choices of today, and more time is always an illusion. Those who succeed do not wait. They act now, however briefly. The discipline is simple yet profound. 15 minutes is manageable. 15 minutes is sustainable. And yet in that brief window you have the opportunity to influence everything that follows. A day begun with purpose carries momentum. A mind anchored in intention acts decisively, speaks thoughtfully, and moves with confidence. It is in these moments that the invisible becomes visible. The energy you cultivate quietly radiates through your actions, your conversations, your presence. People notice, even if they cannot name why. Circumstances respond, opportunities appear, and doors open, not because you forced them, but because your consciousness has prepared to receive them. That is the magic of a focused morning routine. It shapes not only your day, but the very way the world interacts with you. So take these minutes seriously. Guard them, honor them, and invest them in the life you truly want. The way you start your morning is the way you start your life. You may wonder why 15 minutes, why this brief window of time can have such a profound effect. It seems almost too small to matter, almost insignificant against the demands of the day. And yet it is precisely because it is small that it is powerful. 15 minutes is a sweet spot, a perfect length where the mind can fully engage without resistance, without fatigue, without the excuses that come with longer commitments. In these moments you are not overwhelmed, you are focused. You are not burdened by complexity, you are clear. And clarity, my friends, is the birthplace of change. Long routines often fail because they ask too much, demanding hours that life simply will not give. The mind rebels when it is pushed beyond what it feels capable of sustaining. But a 15-minute practice, simple, precise, and intentional, is easily embraced. It does not require grand preparation or extraordinary discipline. It is accessible to anyone who truly desires transformation. And because it is achievable, it becomes consistent. Consistency is the true secret. A habit repeated every day, even briefly, compounds invisibly, inexorably, shaping your reality in ways that astonish you when you look back weeks, months, or years later. These 15 minutes are not merely a fragment of your morning, they are a concentrated power. In this short span, your mind can be aligned with your highest intentions, your heart filled with clarity, and your imagination primed for creation. You can choose to let it drift, to allow the world to dictate your thoughts, or you can seize it with purpose, using it to cultivate exactly what you wish to experience. This small act, repeated daily, becomes a lever, moving the world in your favor, aligning your life with the unseen currents of possibility that are always ready to respond to your attention. People often underestimate the power of a small, deliberate action. They believe that transformation requires monumental effort, extraordinary talent, or vast stretches of time, but the universe does not measure greatness by quantity. It measures by precision, by alignment, by the depth of attention given to the moment at hand. 15 minutes, when fully devoted, is more powerful than an hour spent half-heartedly, more potent than a day wasted in distraction. In these minutes, your consciousness sharpens, your energy clears, and your imagination becomes a magnet for the reality you seek. This is why you will find that the most successful, the most fulfilled, the most influential people often cultivate small, consistent practices in the early hours. They understand that mastery is not in the grand gestures, but in the faithful, repeated acts of focus. They know that a brief, intentional morning routine is not a luxury. It is the foundation of everything else. And because it is brief, it is forgiving. Even when life interferes, even when challenges arise, 15 minutes can still be claimed. It is portable, flexible, adaptable. It does not demand perfection. It only demands presence. The beauty of this short span is also in its momentum. Once you have devoted these minutes to intentional thought, the day unfolds differently. Decisions become easier, distractions fade, energy rises, and confidence deepens. It is as though the universe recognizes your readiness, responding to the signal your morning practice sends. And this, my friends, is the hidden secret that so many overlook. Transformation does not require time, it requires attention. Time is merely the stage. Attention is the force that shapes it. 15 minutes is enough to set your day, to align your mind, to ignite your imagination, and to prepare yourself for everything you wish to receive. Never underestimate the small, deliberate, consistent act. It is within this brief window that the invisible begins to form, and the day and your life begins to bend in your favor. Now let us speak of the core of this practice, the habit that transforms 15 minutes from ordinary to extraordinary. This is the moment when your mind is not merely awake, but alive, when your imagination is not wandering, but directed with precision, when your consciousness becomes the instrument through which your life is shaped. The habit is simple in appearance, yet profound in effect. It is the act of consciously directing your mind to the reality you wish to experience, of visualizing, feeling, and knowing it as if it already exists. This is the foundation upon which everything else is built. You see, your mind is always active, always imagining. Often, it drifts without purpose, wandering through worries, doubts, or memories of the past. But when you take control of those first 15 minutes, you channel that creative power deliberately. You begin by imagining the day as you wish it to unfold. You see it in detail, your actions, your words, your interactions. You feel the success, the calm, the joy that you intend to experience. You do not hope for it, you live it in the theater of your mind. This simple act, this conscious imagining, sets into motion forces that cannot be seen but can be felt. They shape your choices, your energy, your perception, and ultimately your reality. The mind does not differentiate between what is imagined vividly and what is experienced physically. When you see your day or your life as already accomplished, your consciousness aligns with that reality. Your thoughts, your decisions, and your emotions naturally adjust to bring the imagined into the physical world. And the most astonishing part is that it works quickly. The effect of this 15-minute practice is immediate. You will notice a clarity, a sense of confidence, and a feeling of inevitability about the success you have imagined. Your day begins to respond to the state you have assumed in those early moments. Many resist this idea because it seems too simple. They search for complicated strategies, techniques, or systems, but the simplicity is the genius. 15 minutes of focused, intentional mental practice is all that is required to awaken the forces that shape your life. It is not the length of the practice nor the complexity of the ritual that produces results. It is the intensity and fidelity of your attention, the depth of feeling, and the precision of imagination. When these are combined, the mind becomes a magnet, attracting circumstances, people, and opportunities that correspond to the reality you have chosen. This habit is also forgiving. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to see every detail with absolute clarity. You do not need to control every aspect of the day. What matters is the assumption, the inner conviction that the life you desire is already yours. The mind responds to this assumption, and the world adjusts accordingly. And because it is practiced daily, it strengthens each day, becoming a natural part of your consciousness. You will find that even outside the 15 minutes, your thoughts, words, and actions begin to align automatically with the reality you have imagined. It is remarkable to witness the changes that emerge when this practice is followed consistently. Your mood stabilizes, your energy rises. Challenges that once seemed insurmountable now bend, opening paths where none seemed to exist. You discover a silent power within yourself, a creative intelligence that responds to your focus. And all of this begins in 15 minutes each morning, in a simple, deliberate act of imagination and assumption. Do not underestimate the potency of this practice. Within this brief window lies the ability to shape your day, your life, and the world around you. Commit these minutes to conscious creation, and the results will appear not as a distant promise, but as a tangible, noticeable reality. As you engage in this 15-minute practice, you will begin to notice something remarkable. The effects are immediate. The mind and body respond in ways that are tangible, that are felt before any external result appears. You might feel a clarity that was absent just moments before, as if a fog has lifted and your path is suddenly visible. You may sense a lightness, a subtle energy coursing through you, the kind that makes movement easier, decisions simpler, and conversation more fluid. These are not coincidences, they are the natural consequences of aligning your consciousness with the reality you have chosen. When your mind is focused, deliberate and full of intention, it directs the body in harmony with that focus. Thoughts are not separate from the body. They inform it, guide it, shape it. That first breath, that deliberate feeling of success, of calm, of confidence, sends signals that your nervous system receives and responds to. Stress diminishes, anxiety finds no foothold, energy rises. The body moves in sync with the mind, carrying you effortlessly into the day. Even those who have struggled with lethargy, distraction, or doubt will feel this shift. It is immediate, subtle, yet undeniable. And notice how this influence spreads beyond the self. When you embody focus, calm, and confidence, others respond. You speak differently, not just in words, but in tone, in presence. You move differently, with poise and purpose. Opportunities that may have gone unnoticed now present themselves, as if the world itself senses your readiness. People gravitate toward that energy. Situations unfold more smoothly. You see solutions where before there were only obstacles. This is the power of alignment. The inner state shapes the outer experience, often faster than you anticipate. Even small changes become noticeable. Perhaps you feel more optimistic, more resilient, more capable. Perhaps your interactions are smoother, more constructive, more inspiring. You might find your mind remembering important details, your creativity flowing, your decisions aligning naturally with your goals. These are subtle victories, but they accumulate rapidly. What is fascinating is that they do not require force. They arise from the natural consequence of an aligned mind, from the deliberate act of assuming and feeling your desired reality during those 15 minutes. Many dismiss such subtle changes because they seem invisible. They expect immediate dramatic transformation in the outside world. But the mind and body often respond first, shifting your energy and perception. These internal changes inevitably ripple outward, altering circumstances, interactions, and outcomes. The clarity, confidence, and calm you feel begin to guide every step you take. You are no longer reacting to life, you are moving in harmony with it. The world bends in response to your inner alignment, and you begin to witness the tangible effects in ways that feel almost miraculous. This immediate feedback reinforces the habit. The first few days may surprise you. A meeting goes smoothly. A problem resolves more easily than expected. Your energy carries you through tasks with grace. Each day builds upon the last, and the small daily gains compound into noticeable transformation. You begin to see that these 15 minutes are not just a practice, they are a catalyst, a spark that ignites the day, setting your consciousness and your body into perfect rhythm. These effects are proof that the mind and body are not passive. They respond instantly to the state you cultivate. Your energy, your clarity, your confidence, these are the first fruits of your morning practice. The rest of the day, the circumstances, the opportunities follow naturally. Notice this power within you. Feel it, trust it, and carry it forward. Now let us consider what happens when these 15 minutes are not a single act, but a daily discipline. The first day brings clarity. The first week brings momentum, but it is consistency that creates true transformation. Small actions, repeated faithfully, accumulate like invisible deposits in the bank of your life. Each day you engage in this practice, you are not simply passing time, you are compounding your power, building a foundation that grows stronger with every repetition. What seems small in the moment becomes extraordinary over weeks and months. Consistency is not about willpower alone. It is about habit, about aligning your inner world so that these 15 minutes become natural, inevitable. When you rise each morning and devote yourself to conscious creation, you signal to your mind that this is not optional. You signal to the universe that you are ready to receive, and the results, though subtle at first, begin to multiply. Thoughts align more readily, energy flows more freely, opportunities appear more frequently. What you imagined yesterday, you see emerging today. What you dreamed of last week begins to materialize now. Consider how compounding works. A single act of focus, though powerful, is fleeting, but repeated daily, it creates an internal architecture, a mental structure that supports your desires. Your imagination strengthens, your confidence grows, your perception shifts. You begin to see possibilities where others see obstacles, to move decisively where others hesitate, to attract circumstances that correspond to the reality you have assumed. The change is not always dramatic at first, but it is inexorable, unstoppable, and visible over time. The law of compounding is subtle yet absolute. Each day you spend 15 minutes in deliberate thought is like adding a brick to the structure of your life. Alone, a single brick may seem insignificant, but laid consistently, day after day, week after week, you are building a palace. Every idea, every decision, every step you take begins to reflect the reality you have imagined. Your life no longer drifts according to chance or circumstance. It begins to move according to the alignment you cultivate within these minutes. Many fail because they expect immediate, monumental results. They desire the outside world to change first, and when it does not, they abandon the practice. But the truth is that the transformation always begins within. The external world is only a reflection of your inner state. When your mind and imagination are disciplined, when your focus is aligned, the outside world inevitably conforms. And when this happens consistently, the change becomes not only noticeable, it becomes undeniable. The world itself bends in response to your repeated attention, your daily assumption of the life you wish to live. The beauty of this process is that it grows silently, invisibly, yet powerfully. Each day strengthens the effect of the last. You will look back after a month or two and marvel at how far you have come. Problems that once seemed insurmountable have been resolved. Relationships have shifted. Opportunities you could not have imagined now appear with ease. The life you once dreamed of has begun to feel natural because your inner world has been shaped consistently to receive it. This is the secret that so few understand. Small, deliberate acts, repeated faithfully, create results far beyond what seems possible. 15 minutes, invested daily, compounds into clarity, confidence, opportunity, and fulfillment. It is not the flash of effort that changes a life, it is the quiet, consistent cultivation of thought and feeling, day after day, that creates the reality you desire. Trust in the process, for it never fails. Remain faithful to your 15 minutes, and your life will follow. Now that we understand the power, the immediacy, and the compounding effect of this 15-minute practice, the question becomes simple. How do you make it real in your own life? How do you ensure that these minutes are not lost to distraction, to excuses, or to the pull of the outside world? The answer lies in preparation, in simplicity, and in presence. To begin, create a space that invites focus. It need not be grand or elaborate. It only needs to be free from interruption. A place where your mind can settle and your imagination can flourish. Light, silence, or even a simple chair where you can sit comfortably is enough. The key is to signal to yourself that this time belongs to you and to the reality you are creating. Next, set a specific time and guard it as if it were the most important appointment of your day. The first minutes after waking are the most fertile, when the mind is fresh, impressionable, and ready to receive. By claiming this time consistently, you establish a rhythm, a ritual that your consciousness comes to expect. When you repeat this practice daily, it becomes effortless. You no longer negotiate with yourself or rely on willpower alone. The mind becomes conditioned to expect and participate in this alignment. The habit forms naturally, and the power of your imagination is unleashed without resistance. Begin each session with a simple act of intention. Breathe deeply, relax the body, and direct your attention inward. See clearly the reality you desire. Feel it as though it is already present. Imagine the day unfolding exactly as you wish. The interactions, the successes, the moments of joy and clarity. Do not merely think about them, feel them, live them in the theater of your mind. The body responds to these inner states. Energy aligns, confidence rises, and your consciousness begins to radiate the signal of your intention into the world. Remember that consistency is more important than perfection. Some days may be more vivid than others. Some mornings your focus may waver. This does not matter. What matters is the faithful return to the practice, the daily claim of your 15 minutes. Even imperfect practice strengthens the alignment. Even partial focus plants seeds that will blossom in ways you cannot yet see. The universe is not concerned with exactitude, it is concerned with attention, with the state of being that you cultivate. The act of showing up consistently and deliberately is enough to move mountains. Use small reminders to keep your attention anchored. A note on your mirror, a simple alarm, or a conscious pause before you rise from bed can serve as a cue to enter this state of creation. Remove distractions, even if only temporarily, and immerse yourself fully. Let these minutes be yours, a sanctuary for your imagination, a sacred time to shape the day and the life you intend to live. The simplicity of these steps is deceptive, the impact is profound. 15 minutes invested wisely becomes the engine of your day, the magnet for opportunity, and the foundation of every success. Finally, carry the feeling beyond the 15 minutes. Let the clarity, the confidence, and the energy you cultivate spill into every action, every conversation, every choice. The practice is not a separate ritual, it is the source from which your life flows. You will notice that as the days pass, the world bends effortlessly to your assumptions. Challenges resolve more easily. Ideas come more readily, and circumstances align with your inner state. You are no longer at the mercy of events, you are the orchestrator of your reality. The steps are simple, the time is brief, the results are immediate, compounding, and undeniable. Begin tomorrow, begin now. 15 minutes is all it takes to change everything.